Tonight, the stunning devastation from Hurricane Irma. The storm's still hitting the U.S. right now. Irma slamming into Jacksonville, a flash flood emergency. Parts of that city underwater. The new storm surge tonight. Water rescues underway, tornado watches as we come on. Parts of Charleston underwater, and Atlanta now getting hit. Also tonight, our team flying to the Florida Keys. Amy Robach on the ground right there amid reports of complete devastation and despair. Roads washed away, homes destroyed. The massive power outage here in Florida, more than 6 million customers now without power, many without water, more than half of Florida in the dark. The travel nightmare affecting flights coast to coast tonight. The Miami airport now shut down. Atlanta now getting hit, flights affected there as well. And the other major headline this Monday night, on this 9/11, a nation remembers.
This is a special edition of World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from Florida City.
Good evening from South Florida tonight, right here along US 1, the entrance to the Florida Keys, where they are not allowing any families to return home. State police roadblocks just ahead here amid reports of devastation in the Keys. 2 search and rescue mobile units just passed by us. Their sirens on. They were headed into the Keys. And in a moment here, we will head to Amy Robach, who flew into the storm zone, what she witnessed in the Keys on the ground herself. But the other part of this story unfolding right now as we come on, the storm slamming into other American cities tonight. A dangerous storm surge in Jacksonville, Florida. And it is hammering Georgia tonight on its way to Atlanta. Reports parts of Charleston are underwater too. Tonight, Irma is now a powerful tropical storm stretching more than 400 miles across. And so we begin with ABC's Lindsay Davis on the urgent water rescues. She's in Jacksonville, leading us off tonight.
Tonight, Irma is pushing northward. In Jacksonville, massive storm surge and a flash flood emergency, terrifying water rescues along the swollen St. Johns River. The city's mayor warning residents who didn't go to shelters to get in and get up.
And I would remind folks to put a white flag or something that represents a white flag if we need to get you out.
This is a good indicator right here. This is normally a plaza, a walkway to the ocean, and now it's filled with ocean water.
More than 36 hours after hitting the Florida Keys, Irma's winds extend out more than 400 miles from Florida to Georgia and now the Carolinas. This water spout and tornado warnings near Charleston. City streets engulfed by heavy rain and storm surge. On the Florida coast, homes collapsed into the sand near St. Augustine. Outside Orlando, firefighters going home to home in this RV park after a possible tornado touched down overnight.
They're breaking out the doors and the windows, and they're climbing inside.
And in Georgia, howling winds downed huge trees. At least 2 deaths have been confirmed. Our Alex Perez is in Atlanta.
The powerful winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour here, peeling the metal siding right off of this high-rise. Authorities forced to shut down many parts of downtown.
A major city bracing for a rough night ahead.
And Lindsay joined us tonight live from a flooded downtown Jacksonville. And Lindsay, you were telling us they say the floodwaters there could last for days now?
Officials are saying, David, it could last for a week. Take a look at this. This is actually low tide right now, and yet the flooding still persists. You're looking at water that simply has nowhere to go. And in the meantime, you have several cars just like this one submerged in the water. In fact, just a few moments ago, firefighters came by just to make sure that no one was stranded inside, David.
Lindsay Davis leading us off tonight from Jacksonville. Lindsay, thank you. Of course, Irma first made U.S. landfall just south of where I'm standing in the Florida Keys. One way in, one way out. I want to take you up to this drone footage tonight because this evening families are lined up. Traffic is backed up as far as we can see here. They are desperate to get back home to see if they have a home. But authorities, as I mentioned, are not allowing them, saying it is far too dangerous. Tonight, our Amy Robach flying over the destruction in a helicopter before witnessing the damage on the ground firsthand. She's in the Keys tonight.
Tonight, the first look at the destruction in the Florida Keys. In Cudjoe Key, where Irma made landfall, cars tossed from the roads, buried under sand. Homes knocked right off their foundation. We saw the damage from above.
We are flying over US 1 right now. That is the road that is shut down to residents who are trying to get back to sea. The only way you can access the Keys now is by air or by sea.
Bridges now damaged. We see streets completely flooded.
We see boats thrown upside down, roofs ripped off, and entire trailers or mobile homes
On the ground in Key West, a glimpse of that powerful storm surge that followed Hurricane Irma's landfall. The water washing sections of road away, some buildings completely destroyed. Tonight, much of the Keys are without power or water. And when we reach Marathon Key, we see Irma's wrath. Entire neighborhoods completely flattened.
Looking down at some of these mobile home parks in Marathon, it just looks like a debris field. Some of them, they are just completely destroyed.
This piece of paradise now on a long road to recovery. Down power lines, the beach spilling into the roadway, debris everywhere. It is going to be months and months before the community of Marathon gets back up and running. David?
The images coming in from the Keys tonight, just awful. Amy Robach, our thanks to you and that devastation you saw in Amy's report from Irma's first U.S. landfall. We know it was hours later that Irma slammed ashore again, making landfall in Marco Island and then plowing through Naples, where we were reporting live on the air at more than 140 miles per hour. Tonight, what we witnessed at daybreak today when we could finally see what Irma had done. Tonight, the new images now emerging from Naples, Florida, underwater. Entire neighborhoods swallowed by the storm. This home's roof gone, the right side collapsed. It was here that Hurricane Irma hit with the highest wind gust reported in Florida, 142 miles per hour as we were on the air. Look at this. This is just incredible. Over our shoulder here, we are blocked by two sort of concrete barriers, which is the only reason we're able to talk, because if we were another 5 feet this way, we'd be caught in this. Trees snapping, pieces of the roof above us turning into projectiles, debris flying through the air. After sustained wind speeds of more than 100 miles per hour, suddenly we were in the middle of the eye when forecasters tell you, do not be fooled by the lull in the storm. And this is literally what it looks like the moment after Irma passed. The winds have stopped, the rain has stopped, and now we can see the devastation. But within 30 minutes afterward, the wind suddenly whipping up again, sheets of rain coming down. This was the backside of the hurricane, as it then headed north to Fort Myers, and this morning hitting in Jacksonville. Just as families were returning home in Naples to this. You can see this apartment building. Most of these families likely evacuated during the storm, but they're going to come back to find that their cars are completely damaged. The state emergency chief this morning saying we cannot have the full extent of this damage until they're able to go out, but they warned everyone to stay inside after the storm. All over Florida tonight, so many people trying to get home. In Miami, the massive traffic jam on the MacArthur Causeway. Cars turning around mid-highway and traveling west on eastbound lanes. But here in Key West, they are not allowed to return home. As you can see, this is the only entrance to the Florida Keys, and for families who live here, they're not being allowed in. They don't know if their homes are still standing, even as they hear these reports of the devastation in the Keys. Authorities have told them to go back to the shelters and wait for official word before anyone can return. And you can see the authorities are standing here. They're holding firm. Andrew Garcia telling me he's been waiting since early this morning to go home, but they will not let anyone in. Frustration and fear mounting for so many families waiting to see if their property, their homes, survived. What do you make of the destruction you're hearing about further down?
Further down is further down. The roads are washed away. You guys aren't going to go pave the roads before letting us in. It's going to be weeks before those roads get paved. But my house, my parents are there. Why not let us go home?
I'm glad they're okay.
You know, yes, we're very thankful and we're very grateful.
You just feel for these families tonight, and I mentioned that second U.S. landfall on Marco Island, and tonight ABC senior national correspondent Matt Gutman made his way there with so many families worried about what they're coming home to.
Irma came howling into Marco Island at 3:35 Eastern. Get back! The force and the sound of a jet engine. 130 miles per hour tearing through the western coast of Florida.
God help everybody.
The highest gusts in Naples, 142 miles per hour. We were there.
There is a sort of circular swirl happening.
Flooding in St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Fort Myers, Everglades City, swamped.
Significant flooding in the city itself.
At daybreak, crews started plowing through the mangled trees. Power out for millions here.
We have no electric. We have no water on the island, so we're encouraging people, if you don't have to come back right now, don't.
Officials estimate 5,000 people hunkered down in Marco Island. This afternoon, rescuers making their first post-storm rounds. And it was there that we found Mark and Kathy Belfleur.
Whoa, what is that?
That's the ceiling.
It seems to have shredded This is
the insulation.
The insulation, yeah, it got wet, I guess, and they all came apart.
Fleeing the Florida Keys for what they thought was the safety of Marco Island. Did you get out of the way?
Not at all. We ended up right dead center.
And Matt Gutman joins us live tonight from Marco Island. And Matt, I know you have an incredible scene right there behind you. No power, no water there, and likely for some time to come.
David, they're saying it could be weeks, and in this heat, this could bring tremendous misery. And amidst all this destruction, perhaps there is a silver lining. Now, this is one of the multiple homes essentially detonated by Irma. The contents of the kitchen blown out, the roof heaved over on the other side. But I want you to see something that really struck us. Look at every house on this bay, almost every single one, completely unscathed. And that is because they were built using the latest designs to be able to withstand a Category 5 storm, probably saving hundreds of thousands of homes here in Florida. David.
Yeah, stark contrast. So important, those regulations that changed after Andrew. Matt, thank you. As we reported at the top, Irma is not done yet. It is going to be another dangerous night of winds and blinding rain. Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z with the new track tonight. Ginger?
Oh, hey there, David. You can see the center still in South Georgia, now moving north-northwest at 17 miles per hour. So it is cooking and trying to get out of here. But with it will come a lot of heavy rain, especially west of Atlanta and eastern Alabama. And you can also see the tornado watch in place tonight. That includes Hilton Head, Charleston, Savannah, all the way through 11 p.m. tonight. The wind advisories, those are for gusts to up to 45 miles per hour. Nashville makes its way in there, eastern Mississippi, and parts of North Carolina. And don't forget, more than 8 inches of rain still possible with this storm. David?
Ginger Z, who was tracking this all weekend long. Ginger, thank you. The number of people without power tonight is simply staggering here, more than half the state. This satellite image tonight, what a clear night looks like over South Florida. That's Miami up to West Palm Beach, all lit up. Overnight, a much different view. So many families in the dark here. ABC's chief national correspondent Tom Llamas on the effort to get the power back on and in many places to get the water running again. He's in Fort Myers.
Tonight, an army of utility crews on a mission to restore power to more than 6.5 million Florida customers.
It absolutely could be weeks if we have to rebuild parts of the system.
Those sparks, with Irma hitting, a sign of the crisis to come. Trees collapsing, power lines snapping like twigs.
Look at that power pole. It's split into 2 pieces. There are power lines all across the road. Now, we're not sure if those are live wires, but we do know this. Police aren't taking any chances. They set up a roadblock to make sure no one drives over those lines.
Last night was horrible.
The Fulbright family lost power just before Irma hit Fort Myers. They showed us the small gas generator keeping the refrigerator running. But the gas, like their patience, is running out.
I don't see the power coming on anytime soon with all the flooding.
The power outage is also affecting the water system. Many Floridians told to boil their water tonight. And authorities warning of other dangers. That dead traffic lights could lead to car crashes at intersections.
Tom Llamas is in Fort Myers tonight. And Tom, you showed us that family and their generator. And authorities want us to warn so many at home, if you do have a generator, make sure you don't keep it inside the house.
That's right, David. It needs to stay outside because of the danger of carbon monoxide poisoning. And we have noticed a lot of generators outside in this neighborhood and Cape Coral. Just behind me, that massive tree taking down power lines. But look at this, David. The power crews up there working late into the night, making sure they can restore power, at least to this neighborhood. David?
A Herculean effort tonight. Tom Llamas, thanks so much. This storm causing a travel nightmare, affecting flights coast to coast. Take a look at the flight radar from last Monday, the air traffic over Florida, and then today. The skies over Florida virtually empty. ABC's Gio Benitez at Miami Airport still shut down tonight.
Tonight, Irma's wrath damaging South Florida airports, debris littering terminals, windows breaking. Of those 4,000 flights canceled today, more than 1,000 in Atlanta because of strong winds. Miami International Airport reopening tomorrow.
It's going to be an incremental, gradual ramp up to 100% flights.
We met Juan Solveira, stranded at MIA since Friday.
You must have never expected to sleep in an airport.
No, I never in my life, really.
Yeah. And chaos on the roads as some of the millions of Floridians ordered to evacuate started going back home. Near Miami Beach, drivers forced to turn around. And many families tonight separated. Dr. Lewis Freeman, a radiologist staying behind to work, his family evacuated to Charlotte.
When you see this, what do you think?
Well, thank God that I'm alive. It's hard, you know, you come home after 48 hours straight of working, and then you found everything that you work hard for, you know, a little bit destroyed, but thank God that everybody's safe.
And Gio Benitez joins us live from Miami Airport tonight. And Gio, we heard your report there. They plan to reopen the airport tomorrow. Let's hope so. But one of the concerns, the jet fuel and if it was affected by the storm?
That's right, David. They wanted to test it to make sure that the fuel wasn't contaminated by the rain. It wasn't, so it's good to go. David?
That is good news tonight. Gio Benitez in Miami. Gio, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Monday. The race to get Americans out of the Caribbean. More than 1,000 tourists already evacuated by the U.S. military as desperation now sets in on those hard-hit islands so many Americans want out. Also, the other news tonight, the deadly mass shooting. Several gathered to watch a football game in Texas when a gunman opens fire. And the massive home explosion, a residence completely destroyed, what authorities are now saying tonight. A lot more news ahead. Stay tuned.